Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons. We thank God for those of you who are, first of all, listening to us on the legendary WIGO Pacesetter 1570 AM in Clayton County. And also want to give a big shout out to those of you who are watching on the replay, because we know that so many of you guys check us out on the replay. We appreciate each and every one of you for doing that. As you can see, I'm on location here. I was going to say an undisclosed location, but that's not true. We're actually located in the epicenter, which is right in Austell, Georgia, which is minutes away from downtown Atlanta. We are here for one of the great men's networking events in the country. It's called Kings and Priests. Robert Watkins started that, I would say probably about 15, 16 years ago, maybe a little bit more or less, give or take. And it's a huge networking event for men and kind of specifically men of faith. Pastors are here, former players are here, just regular business people here, all men of faith, networking together and seeing how we can improve as men in whatever field of endeavor that we are in. So we are thankful to God that He's allowed us to come out here this morning and do our broadcast live from here. And we, again, so grateful to those of you who have tuned in to checking us out. So like I say again, we're here live at the epicenter. And here's the other interesting thing is kind of the synergy behind this. Not only is this a wonderful facility here, but it is the practice facility for the Atlanta Dream. And also this facility was built by a church and its pastor, Bishop Bronner. They have a church here. I want to say it's the Word of Faith Church. I always going to get it wrong. But anyway, their church is located not too far from here. And they decided to make a physical and financial investment as well as a spiritual investment here in the community. And this epicenter is really state-of-the-art, top quality facility here. It has all types of things. It has rooms, meeting rooms, it's conference rooms, it has a theater. It also has its own gym facility here, workout facility. It has Subway, all types of great places to eat as well. So, kudos to Bishop Bronner and all the folks there at his church that thought it was a good idea to not only, again, like I said, invest in the spiritual things, but also invest in the things of the natural as well. So we are here doing the broadcast here because I actually was invited to come out and say a few words to my fellow brothers about what the Lord is doing in the world of sports, especially professional sports. And for those of you who know and just watch, there's so much that God is doing, so much He's been doing. I think that, we oftentimes, see athletes, we see all the crazy stuff that goes on in the headlines, and we think that's all there is to it. But man, people are doing some great things in the community. People are doing great things to exemplify their faith. And so we hope to bring you a little bit of that today as we go through the broadcast, and also bring you, as you know, sports updates from around Metro Atlanta and even beyond. But as always, it is that time of year, football season going on, baseball season going on, as far as the playoffs wrapping up. And it's interesting that here in Atlanta, most of us have really decided not to watch hardly any of the World Series because most of us are still reeling from the fact that the Braves couldn't even get out of the first round. I mean, just crazy. They just couldn't even get out of the first round. I think that was a stunner for us. And the idea of the Braves with having such a dominant season won't be able to be in the postseason was a shocker. And we really just we don't have any interest. I'm just being real. Even as sportscasters, I mean, all of us have been talking about that. Even the big stations, nobody seems to want to be involved with watching anything of the series. But that doesn't take away from the fact that the Texas Rangers, a wild card team, have made their move. An epic walk-off home run last night by their star player, Adalis. I can't pronounce his name properly. I'll get that for you in just a little bit. But he hit a walk-off home run in extra innings, and now the Texas Rangers have a 1-0 lead over the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, what's interesting is that looking at this, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. I think Major League Baseball is going to take a good hard look at their playoff system, and that you might see some type of reboot because, in essence, all of the teams that were the top teams during the regular season were gone. Braves gone, Dodgers gone, Orioles gone, Tampa Bay Rays gone, all these teams that were so dominant during the regular season. I know, hey, man, look, the playoffs are the key. I get that. But man, at the end of the day, I mean, these are the teams you really kind of wanted to see. I'm just being honest. I mean, this is what you really wanted to see. You wanted to see the top stars, the guys that you would follow all year long, to be out in the Fall Classic, and to see all of these teams summarily just blown out of there and said, "Thanks for playing, you're out." Yeah, it's kind of hardcore. So hopefully next year they'll figure out a ways that these teams don't have to sit around for this long period of time. 'Cause a lot of people talked about the 5-day layoff really hurt these teams because baseball teams are such creatures of habit. But bottom line is, kudos to the Rangers. Big 6-5 win to start off the World Series. They now have a one game to nothing lead over the Arizona Diamondbacks, who themselves are a team that kind of snuck up on everybody. And really, had it not been for a Cubs loss to the Braves late in the season, Diamondbacks probably wouldn't even been there. But just let you know, man, sports is crazy. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen. That's why, like Herman Edwards said, you've got to play the game. It was a funny clip, but it's true. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen until you actually get in there and play the daggone game. You don't know. And that's what makes sports so intriguing. That's what makes sports so much fun. You just never know what is going to happen in the world of sports. Speaking of that, like I said, again, we do high school football, and we have been in DeKalb County as of late. We've been following a team called the Stevenson Jaguars. Now, Stevenson over the years has had some good teams, but recently, in the last several years, they've really been kind of on a decline. But their head coach, Marcus Jelks, has got these guys clicking on all cylinders, and they now find themselves at 6-2, and they have now clinched a postseason berth for them. And it's actually, I think, going to be a home game as well. So big shout out and kudos to Coach Jelks and his stalwart over there at Stevenson High School. Like I said again, these guys have done a good job, and we actually connected with them on social media. Yeah, I saw them on the Instagram page. We kind of corresponded there, and I said, I want you guys to come on our show. And fortunately, we also had a break in our schedule here at Clayton County, so we were actually able to get out there and stream some games live. So it's pretty cool stuff. Stevenson High School Jaguars doing it up big. They are first time back in the playoffs for some time. All right, and so I got a correction here on my baseball. It's Adalis Garcia with the Rangers. And my good friend Donna Jones is a big baseball fan. She said, hey, the guy's been hurting every team he plays. He just want to get a big update there. And thank you, Donna. Big shout out for you. Letting me know what the heck was going on there. Because we don't do much baseball. We just don't. Like, so unless the Braves are in it, that's not really our thing here in the South. Football rules the roost. It's all about football, and football. And so we kind of spend a lot of our time doing that. But thankful to Donna Jones for letting us know. Adalis Garcia. He's hit last night was his 8th home run that was hit in postseason play. So yeah, it's like I said, it's you got to get out there. You just never know what's going to happen until you get out there and play these games. We want to give a big shout out again to our sponsors. Our current sponsor, Allen Vigil 40, is our title sponsor for high school football. I want to give a big shout out, of course, to our partner here, WIGO, the legendary WIGO, pace at 1570 AM. And we also want to give a shout out to some other folks that will be coming along with us as time goes on. K&G Suit City will be joining us very soon as one of our sponsor partners. We also want to give a big shout out to Honey Please Spa. That is actually run by one of our camera people, and now she's morphing into a actual photojournalist, doing some interviews for us as well. The owner of that is Miss Erica. Oh, I'm doing it. This is terrible. This is what happens when you do stuff early in the morning. Erica Watford, our good friend, our photojournalist now, but yeah, she's going to be partnering with us. She has a beautiful foot spa here in East Atlanta called Honey Please. So I want to give a big shout out to her and her crew over there. Great stuff. If you want a place for you as a guy to get your feet right, or if you have a significant other or a family member, a mom, grandmom, auntie that you want to treat real well, Honey Please Spa right in East Atlanta, man, right in the middle of it. They do a wonderful job there. It's like you'll go in there and you'll be transported to somewhere else. So again, big shout out to them, and shout out to all the people that are going to be working with us and have worked with us in the past. Be Mary's event and arts center in Jonesboro. Also, big shout out to the folks that run the Bowling Alley Open Stock Pinstripes All these folks have been affiliated with us. Also want to give a shout out to one of our favorite spots. We'll be back there again. We've done actually our sports show and our ministry show over there as well. The Holiday Inn and Suites in Stockbridge, Georgia. Thank you as well for being one of our partner sponsors both before, and we look forward to having you guys come on back and joining us again. Well, before we go to our break coming up in a few minutes, we want to hopefully have some good fun here and load up some interviews from what we did the other night, and hopefully we can get those downloaded so you guys might be able to see it. We've been having a little bit of skippiness with our stuff, but that's okay. We shall proceed on. One of the things we were able to do last week is that we were able to go out and cover the High School Football Hall of Fame. I really did not know that Georgia High School Association has a Hall of Fame, but we were really fortunate to get out there and to be able to be a part of their event. And so hopefully we'll be able to get you guys up to take a look at that. While we're waiting, I want to do this. One of the other events I covered is Atlanta Touchdown Club. And a few weeks ago, we had a chance to go out and actually interview, I think he's the number one prospect in the nation. He's definitely the number one football prospect in the nation. We'll let you hear about him in just a moment. Here we go.
Hey guys, we're at the Atlanta Touchdown Club, and you know they have some of the best athletes in the nation. This young man is going to introduce himself to you right now.
Sir, Dylan Raiola, quarterback at Beaufort High School.
Dylan, it's got to be very exciting for you. A lot of legendary quarterbacks have won this award. Guys like Cam Newton. What does it mean for you to win this award?
It means a lot. But I couldn't do it without my team. Everybody putting in that work that everybody doesn't see. So it's special, but there's a lot more people than just me winning this award.
Now here at UGA is your next destination. What made you pick the Bulldogs?
Yes, sir. There's a lot of things that stood out to me, but Coach Smart was one of the main focal points. His leadership, the way he runs his program, and the people that he brings with him. So it's a lot of fun. I look forward to it. But I want to finish business at Beaufort High School.
Now, speaking of that, you guys got a big game against Mill Creek, and I think the young man that won the award on the defensive side, you're going to see him. How exciting is it for you to have this kind of big game coming up right after you won this award?
Yeah, it's big time. We know it's at stake. We just got to do our job. It'll be a lot of fun, but we'll prepare for the game. It's only Tuesday now, so just got to keep preparing and get ready for them.
One last question I always ask guys here. Usually the schools have some type of thing that they have the guys do off campus, whether it be to help the elderly or whether give back to little kids. What kinds of things you like to do when you're not playing football?
I always like hang out with my family. I like cutting hair, and just being around my teammates is a lot of stuff I like to do. I would say the main thing is my family.
All right, so you got the style of the haircut there, young man. Well, listen, good luck to you in the game next week. And how can people follow you on social media?
You follow my Instagram. It's my first and last name, or you can follow my Twitter, the same first and last name.
Perfect. All right, do you have your hardware here? Do your mom and dad have it?
My mom parents got
There you go.
Yes,
all
sir.
right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dylan, again, I think, again, he is definitely a top 5 prospect for high school football, but I think he's actually the number one prospect for high school football in all the country based on ESPN, their top 100. So, yeah, man, it's just great stuff. We love to get out here and cover the young people. There's so much stuff going on here in Atlanta, Georgia area, which is, great for us because we're right down here on the ground floor. Another thing we had the opportunity to cover, like I mentioned, is the Georgia High School Football Awards. We're going to try to see if we can get some of that up for you in just a moment. And hopefully we'll get this interview. This is for you Georgia Bulldog fans. There were a lot of Bulldogs that were inducted in this event. And this next gentleman, and once we get it uploaded, is, I believe I'm getting the clip from the offensive coordinator, I do believe. So we shall see. What we're going to do, looks like we're coming up on a break. So we're actually going to go to a break, and then we'll hopefully have that all uploaded for you when we come back. Please don't go nowhere because you're watching and listening to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you live here from the Epicenter, just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, for the Kings and Priests event. Don't go nowhere. Please, we'll be right back. Please, stay locked right here.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvisuallincoln.net.
Sports Show, as I said, we're broadcasting to you on location today at the Epicenter, located just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. It is a facility actually built by one of the great churches here in Metro Atlanta, I'll just say around the world. It is the Word of Faith Church, and it is pastored by Bishop Barana. And they decided what they wanted to do, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, they want to make an investment, not only just in the spiritual needs of the community, but also the financial needs, and put kind of a stake in the ground. So this facility actually houses a movie theater. It houses an event center. It has a gym. It has multiple restaurants and locations here. Really a great spot, located about 15 minutes north of downtown Atlanta. Well, as I mentioned to you, we do all types of coverage of high school and other sports, but definitely high school football. And we were fortunate enough to be at the Georgia High School Football Hall of Fame induction, and I found out something I did not know. The Georgia offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo, was a star here in Atlanta at quarterback in the Atlanta area, and he was inducted. And fortunately for him, the Georgia Bulldogs had a bye that weekend. He was able to come down and get the award. Let's listen to our interview with Mike Bobo, offensive coordinator for the Georgia Bulldogs. Thank you.
All right, guys, I'm on the scene here for the Georgia High School Hall of Fame. And this guy, you guys already know, but I'm going to introduce himself to you right now. Go ahead.
Mike Bobo, Thomasville High School, class of 1993.
Now, see, Coach, I had no idea that you were Georgia through and through, sir.
Yeah, I'm all about high school football in the state of Georgia. My dad was a high school coach. It's a special night for me tonight. One, I got inducted to the High School Hall of Fame, but just the guys that were inducted tonight, I grew up watching my whole life. Guy McIntyre, who you just interviewed before, is from Thomasville. I played on Guy McIntyre Field growing up in Thomasville, Georgia. When I was in the 4th grade, he came to the lunchroom, and I got an autograph from Guy McIntyre. Made my day that day, and I wanted to grow up and play at Thomasville High School because of Guy McIntyre. And then to be inducted in the Hall of Fame the same day is unbelievable.
And it's got to be cool for you because it's from both ends. Not only the guys that you grew up watching, there's so many guys coaching.
Oh, I know.
It must make you feel to see all these guys, Rennie Curran and some of the other great Georgia Bulldogs out here tonight.
Well, Rennie Curry came up tonight, linebacker from Brookwood. I had that area, recruited him. I always made him wear boots when he came on a recruiting visit because he wasn't very tall enough. And he had success at Georgia, and his parents, and they used to feed me those hot peppers on official visits. And then DJ Shockley, man. I broke down when he came up tonight. I started crying. Just ambassador for the state of Georgia. Everything he means in the state of Georgia. I love DJ Shockley and have a chance to coach him and get to know his family and his dad, mom, brother, sister, and now his wife Portia and his kids. And see him get inducted tonight, just a special time. Quincy Carr, Jarvis Jones, Charles Johnson, Adam Meadows. I was an average player and got to surround myself around a lot of good players. And to see them have success, whether I played with them or coached them tonight, is very humbling.
It's going to make you feel good. You're part of a season that you're working to be legendary, trying to get that 3rd one in a row. But yeah, Coach, we just wanted to stop and say hello to you and say congratulations. And if you could, please, we got a big Georgia fan back at Allen Vigil.
Yes, so it was Mike Bobo, offense coordinator for the University of Georgia. As you can see, he was still moved as I got a chance to talk with him after he received the award. Like I said, man, it's just what you find out is a lot of these guys that, and I know that Georgia fans over the years have been feeling some kind of way about coach and some of the play calling. But the one thing that I always enjoy about going to these events is that you get a chance to see these players and these coaches, what they really are. They're human beings just like us. They have feelings, they have families, they have friends, and they themselves want to be champions. Nobody wants to go out there and say, well, I'm gonna go out here and make as many bad plays as I can so my team can lose the championship. Of course, that's not true. I mean, at the end of the day, all these guys want to win. But what happens is that, the other team has a spot in that. And yet, it's sometimes the play calling drives me bananas, even with the Falcons. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Same thing with the Hawks. It's like sometimes I say, hey, you're not trying to put your players in the best position. But all that being said, it was good to see these guys up close and personal, and to see, the fact that, again, these people are human, man. They got feelings just like you and I. They're going through different things. And like I said, man, it's just sometimes we just have to be patient with people. Not so much patient. Let me put it another way. Sometimes we just have to remember not to throw people under the bus. To understand that, hey, man, you know what? At the end of the day, like I said again, these people are human. They're like anybody else, and we have to learn sometimes to just, like you said, we just have to learn sometimes, man, to not get ourselves. We can complain, but we don't want to make it personal. Like I said again, they're human beings. They got families just like everybody else. We don't want any of our stuff to get to the point where we're calling people out of their name and all kind of other stuff. Now, don't be wrong. I will be calling for your replacement if you're not playing right or if you're not doing right. I'm going to do that because that's what we do as sports pastors. That's our job, and that's our jobs to you. I mean, you expect us as a sports broadcaster as the name of the show is, Real Talk Sports. You expect me to keep it real. So, there's no doubt in my mind that, when these things happen and when guys are not doing well, we're gonna call them out. But at the end of the day, we want to do it in a way that we always remember, like I said, who these guys are and the fact that, they're like everybody else, that they have stuff that they're trying to go through, stuff that they're dealing with. And we want to, just make sure that we don't overdo it. I'm just saying, because it's possible. They say, I mean, you get so energized. And even me, I'm like I was watching the Hawks game last night. I was pulling my hair out. I was like, what the what? But we'll talk about that in just a minute. We're here, like I said again, we're on the scene. And you can see I have the bright sunshine behind me. You see I have my nice jacket on this morning. Let me go ahead and put on my shades so I can look sharp like the razor. Yeah, we wanted to come out here today. Robert J. Watkins is the gentleman that the Lord gave an idea to many years ago, and he launched out in faith, and he has built a national movement called Kings and Priests. The idea is to make men remember that, according to the Word of God, that those of us who are believers in mighty Yahshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, we are called to be both kings and priests. In other words, to operate with excellence, both in the spiritual things and things of our religious background, more importantly, also to operate that way in the things of this world, in our business, in our sports endeavors, in all things. So it's not just a one-shot thing. That's why the preacher is out here doing a sports broadcast. I'm just saying. Yeah, guys, it's been good stuff. Like I said again, we saw some high school football last night. We looked at the guys from Stevenson High School, and they had not last night, Thursday night. They actually did some Thursday night lights, an epic game against a team that's been kind of a rival for them, Holy Innocents. That team really had taken it to them last year. They went to Holy Innocents' location at their school, was up in just outside of Metro Atlanta, up in the north side, and they got shellacked. Well, they said, we want some payback, and they got it as they won 21-14, and it was a battle. First half, it was all Stevenson. They were rolling. And then in the second half, I'm not sure what happened, but I am sure what happened. Holy Innocents showed why they were one of the better teams in the Metro Atlanta area, and they unleashed a debilitating ground attack, and Stevenson had to hold on for dear life in the second half. Unbelievably, the Holy Innocent Bears held the ball for probably, if you're talking about 2 quarters, they probably held on to the ball for 2/3 of the second half. As a matter of fact, they got the opening kickoff and launched a 9-minute drive. That's right. They held the ball for 9 minutes and scored a touchdown. Their quarterback, Connor White, he worked the RPO, which is what we call run pass option, to perfection. He was just unstoppable, and they marched down on 9 minutes and then scored a touchdown to cut the lead to 21-14. And then after Stevenson had the ball twice, they could not score. And once again, Holy Innocent got the ball back with about 6 or 7 minutes to play, and again launched a debilitating ground attack, which brought them all the way down to about but they got down to about the 3-yard line of Stevenson. There was a penalty. Remember, Falcons fans, what happened to Falcons with a penalty? They got a penalty. They got backed up. And then on 4th down and goal, 16 seconds left to play, they threw a ball in the end zone, which was tipped. And then, according to Holy Innocent fans, was caught on the ground by the receiver. But according to the referees, the ball touched the ground and ball game was over. Of course, you know what happens next. Stevenson got the ball back and then went to what we call the victory formation, where they take a knee. And Stevenson held on to a 21-14 victory over the Holy Innocent Bears. So really was great stuff in that game. Just unbelievable watching them do what they do. Now I'm gonna tell you something, guys. You know, when I do a live broadcast, you never know what we might do here. So I can see in the corner of my eye filming me, the guy who is actually over this entire event here. I'm gonna talk to you about. He's like, don't bring me on. But Robert J. Watkins is giving a little background stuff for his great event. We hope to bring him on at some point in time before we get out of here today. So again, just thankful to him that we're able to do this broadcast live from his location. But yeah, so Holy Innocents, they gave a battle, but it was Stevenson Jaguars, like I mentioned now, at 6-1. I said 6-3, 6-1. They are ranked number 1 in their region at this time, and they are going to host a home playoff game because of that win, which they have not done in years. So DeKalb County, big shout out. Plenty of other teams doing great in DeKalb County. I'm not trying to just pick on Stevenson, but I happened to interact with them on social media and did have the time to go out there and actually do one of their games. Another team, kind of a legendary team out in that area, is the Tucker Tigers. Shout out to them as they continue now to come back. They had started off well. They had a big win over Southwest DeKalb in a game that was actually played at Morehouse. And I got a chance to see their 6'8", 260-pound quarterback. Yeah, this guy is just, a load. And so Tucker now has won, I think, 3 of their last 4 games. They themselves also look to march towards a playoff berth. I'm going to see if I can get this clip up here of this young man from the Tucker Tigers. Now, for those of you at WIGO, you won't be able to see this, obviously. You can go to our page on social media. Check us out on YouTube or Facebook if you want to see this clip of this young man. But he is huge. I'm going to try to see if I can get this clip up here because it's unbelievable. Here he is. His name is Jamal Brown. He's going to score a touchdown here. Again, a high school quarterback, 6'8". And here's a clip for those of you who are watching on social media. Yeah, it's just incredible watching this. Like I said, a quarterback, playing quarterback, 6'8" and over 250 pounds for the Tucker Tigers as they look to get into the playoffs in their region. Also, big shout out down here in Clayton County area, Mundy's Mill. They unfortunately lost last night to Woodward Academy. And speaking of Southside, big shout out to Woodward Academy, a private school in College Park, right down the road from me. They have clinched a berth in the region playoffs. And Mundy's Mill, I think, also has clinched as well, even though they lost last night to Woodward Academy. Our good friends in Jonesboro are also pushing for a berth. Their game actually was postponed till today. They have a game against Alcovey High School. The game was postponed because they didn't have enough referees. And speaking of that, I will tell you guys, if you have an opportunity, if you want to get involved with refereeing, that's something that kind of floats your boat. I'm going to tell you, please, man, please, sir, do it, because I talked to referees. I actually met a young lady who's a referee, and she said, brother, we just don't have enough people out there and available. Well, I tell you what we do have available. We have available breaks. So we got to take a break, and we have to let you guys know about what's going on with us and our sponsors. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show. We broadcast to you live here from the Kings and Priests Men's Networking event right here outside of Metro Atlanta at the epicenter in Austell, Georgia. We'll be back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Don't go anywhere, please. Thank you and thank you.
Are you in the market for a new vehicle? Well, check out Allen Vigil Ford Lincoln in Morrow, Georgia. We have one of the largest inventories in our area for both new and pre-owned vehicles, so we're sure to have something for everyone. Family owned and operated since 1982, customer satisfaction is our number one priority. Come see our full lineup of vehicles and find the one that best fits you. Give us a call today, 678-726-5739, or shop us 24/7 online at allenvigilford.net.
All right, guys, we're back here again at the Epicenter, located right outside Atlanta, Georgia, in Austell, Georgia. We're here to attend the Kings and Priests men's networking event. And Kings and Priests was founded by Robert J. Watkins. And what that's about, for those of you who say, what's that? It is a men's group. And the concept is Kings and Priests, that God has called us who are believers, especially those of us who are male believers, to be both kings and priests. What does that mean? To us to be spiritually effective, but also to be financially and what's the word I'm looking for? Operating in excellence in the areas that are not spiritual, whether it be our finances, whether it be running our homes, whether it be being good citizens in our community, whatever that may be, that's not technically a spiritual in terms of worshiping and praising the Lord. We are commanded and we are told that when we have a relationship with Jesus Christ, we actually can have both. So here to help influence men to be better in their community, better in their home, better on their jobs, and for some of those who are sports related, be better on the field or court of play as well. Again, we're here live for the Kings and Priests event here in Atlanta, major networking event, been going on since last night. And like I said, again, we are just happy to be in the number and so excited that they asked us to come out here and give us a few words of encouragement about what the Lord is doing in the world of sports. Because like I said, a lot of people have this idea that somehow if you're involved in sports, that you can't be a man of faith. And I would like to tell you, that's wrong. They can't do it. All right, the other thing that we do, you guys know, we cover the Atlanta Hawks. And the Hawks coming off an off season where they traded one of our favorite players, John Collins, team last year who underperformed. Many people thought they were a 50-win team, ended up only winning 41 games and at 500. But brought a brand new coach in, Quinn Snyder, who had won 50 games a couple of times out in Utah, where he coached before. Is considered one of the better coaches in the NBA, up-and-coming coach. And now he had a full season to be able to, not full season, a full off season to be able to get to know this team, to implement his style of play. And after a very good preseason where the Hawks won 4 of 5 games, everybody was thinking, hey, all right, we're going to see the Hawks ball out. We're going to see them come out of the chute fast, and that we'll be able to see some really good basketball. Well, we have not. What we have seen is what we see every year with this Hawks team, a team that shows flashes of brilliance, a team that shows flashes of entertaining, high-flying basketball, but then mysteriously in clutch time does not have the ability to close out games or to win games. So the Hawks have started off their season 0-2. First of all, losing to the Charlotte Hornets, a team that no matter what the record is, I don't know how this is, but they somehow are able to always seem to beat Atlanta. Not sure why the Hornets have the Hawks number. The Hawks came in, like I say again, on a roll, great preseason. Charlotte coming in, multiple players injured, including one of their star players is in some type of off the field problem. So you're thinking, all right, the Hawks are going to start with some momentum, win on the road. No. There are two main stars in the backcourt, DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. Shot a combined 7 of 33 from the floor. Trae was 4 of 19. DeJounte was 3 of 14. In spite of that, the Hawks had several opportunities to win that game. They even had a lead in the fourth quarter of about 5 points. But unfortunately, the Atlanta Hawks still cannot seem to find out how to close these games in the fourth quarter, especially like I say when they had an opportunity to win. So we said, okay, no problem. It's on the road. We're going to come here and have opening night here at the State Farm Arena in downtown Atlanta. And so here we were, opening night, the fanfare places packed, sold out arena because they're facing their new arch rival, the New York Knickerbockers. As you know, Trey, a couple of years ago when the Hawks had that great run to the Eastern Conference Finals, came in and did some Michael Jordan stuff in New York to the point where they had to chant F. Trey Young. They still do it now when he comes to town. Lift the Knicks up. But since then, not so much. And the New York Knickerbockers have added to their arsenal Jalen Brunson, who last night out Trey Young to Trey Young in the showdown between two of the best point guards in the East. Jalen Brunson won it by a landslide. Brunson put up 31 points. They got 11 assists and pretty much was unstoppable. Trey Young, 13 assists, but only 18 points. When I say only, this is a guy that's traditionally averages in the high 20 and had another bad shooting night from three-point range. As Hawks go down 126 to 120. Now, what was even more infuriating about this is that the Hawks actually were down 122 to 115 with less than a minute to play in the fourth quarter. And suddenly, the tide turned. The Hawks pick up a missed shot by the Knicks, score. Then they get a block and a score. And then when the score 122 to 120, Trey Young tips the ball. It goes off the hand of a Knicks player. And suddenly, with about 16 seconds left to go, the Hawks are now in the position to tie the game or go ahead. The ball goes back in the hands of their star player, Trey Young. And then what happened next was kind of puzzling. Trey attempted an ill-advised alley-oop, missed time. I don't even think the intended player even touched the ball. The Knicks gleefully recovered, hit a couple of foul shots, and ended up winning the game 126 to 120. A game, again, the Hawks should have won, or at least been able to send the game in overtime. Because I got to tell you, when they cut that lead, first of all, people getting ready to leave. People were leaving as the Hawks started chipping away at this lead. And when it got down to 122 to 120, the roar in that State Farm Arena was deafening. It was like a playoff game. It was incredible. People were stopping. People are coming back in, trying to get back to their seats. It was just an unbelievable night. And now all of a sudden you said to yourself, okay, all of the bad karma, or whatever you want to call it, gone. You said, man, it's on and popping now. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get a win. But once again, this Hawk team disappoints, and they go out with a whimper. And so now I'm wondering to myself, what can this team do to get themselves back together where you have a situation that this team actually can win these games, which I know everybody says early in the season, and, you know, you guys take a peek. I'll have it up over the next couple of days. I'll put it out there for you guys again on YouTube page. I might even do a separate kind of Hawks update. But it's the same old thing. And listen, I like Trey Young. The guy is a spectacular player. And certainly in his first, he's had a funny kind of run here in Atlanta. So he's on year 6. First year, a little bit underwhelming, show some flashes. Second year, team to kick it in gear. And really had that run from year 2, 3, and 4 where you were saying, okay, we got something here. We got a guy we can build around, especially, you know, now 3 years ago when they went to the playoffs, had that epic run where he literally was unstoppable in some of these games. He was just a one-man wrecking crew. I don't want to say Michael Jordan-ish, but Steph Curry-ish, where he just could not be stopped. And you would think to yourself, okay, here we go. We finally have in the Atlanta area a team that we can get behind, a team that has the potential to win. So coming into the next season, the Hawks made a few little tweaks, and we're saying it's on and popping. They actually went backwards. Underwhelming season, got into the playoffs and got run out of there pretty quickly. And next year, they make some moves. They trade off a guy I thought they should have never traded. They trade away, we call him Red Velvet. Beautiful shooter. I don't know why my mind is drawing blanks right now. But anyway, great shooter, decent defender, a guy that spaced the floor well. And you're thinking to yourself, all right, why are they trading this guy away? And they got basically nothing in return. Kevin Huerter, that's what Kevin Huerter, from the great small forward. When I say great, pretty good small forward from out of the University of Maryland. The guy, like I said again, he was a clutch shooter, had some big games in the playoffs, and the biggest thing was he was a good three-point shooter. Hawks let him go, got basically nothing back. They called it a salary adjustment. And then the same thing, a guy who had kind of been the start of the beginning of the comeback for the Hawks to be a decent team, John Collins. After coach came in and kind of changed the way they wanted him to play, had some injuries, never really was the same guy that we saw in his first and second year here in Atlanta. They get rid of him for basically little or nothing. Now he's gone. And I'm not trying to say that's bad or good, because John Collins basically has not played that well the last couple of years, certainly not played up to the money that the Hawks were paying him, so I get it. But at the end of the day, all of this team, this big three of Trey and Kevin Huter and John Collins, and to some degree DeAndre Hunter, is all gone. Cam Reddish, another guy they picked up, who I thought was the steal of the draft when they got him a couple of years ago. Turned out the guy was kind of a head case. So all the stuff that we saw in 2021, where we were thinking that we're this close to an NBA title, now has all flithered away. And Hawks have now brought in another coach, good pedigree, but I heard the same thing in the press conference. The coach talked about, we're not communicating well. There are many things the guys have to do. I have my star player coming out saying stuff like, well, he's bringing a new system, and even though we played well in preseason, it's not the same. Some guys might be. He actually said some guys might be tired. I think to myself, tired? You're 2 games into the season. How can you be tired? What are you talking about? So I heard, and I know it's early in the season. I know it's only 2 games. They play 82 games. I get it. But I'm not hearing the energy, the underneath drive to win. I'm not hearing that. I don't sense that from our star player, Trae Young. And this has been troubling to me, especially over the last couple of years. I remember the season after the playoffs, how he said, well, yeah, you know what? The regular season doesn't have the excitement of the postseason. It's kind of boring. I'm like, and that means we're not going to get, 100% effort. We're not going to get that type of spectacular play unless it is a playoff game or a playoff type game. Bad thing for me to hear from our star player. I like the young man. He's a brother in Christ, newly minted dad and husband. But doggone it, I need that energy. I need that unhappiness with losing. I need that desire for a championship, not just these guys doing this talking and the spectacular play during the game. I want that dedication to winning, which sometimes I don't see with this Hawk team. And I'm beginning to wonder, is it the players that they're bringing in versus the coaches? Because I'm brought in, this is now the third coach, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm just necessarily taking shots at Trey, but it's your star player, and kind of the expectations roll onto his back. And a lot of people are thinking that, hey, the common denominator, these Hawks teams not going nowhere, is the fact we have our superstar. We brought coaches in and out. So now if this Quinn Snyder doesn't work out, then we're going to have to kind of look at our star, Trae Young, and say, dude, maybe you're the problem. And I hope it doesn't come there. I hope whatever the system that Quinn Snyder's put in that they somehow can't get a hand on, I'm hoping and praying they can get a hand on it and they can get out here and ball out the way they should. But if not, Lord have mercy, we'll have to make changes again. I hope not. All right, guys, we're going to take our final break of the day. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Minister Jonathan Simmons. We thank you so much for joining us here. And we will ask you to hold on. Keep it locked right here. We'll be back for more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Please don't go nowhere. Thank you.
Hey, sports fans, tune in for live high school football Friday, 7:30 p.m. on RealTalkSports.net. Check out your favorite Metro Atlanta teams as they do battle on the gridiron. It's your high school game of the week, live streaming free Friday nights on RealTalkSports.net. For more sports coverage and great sports talk, catch the Real Talk Sports Show Tuesdays, 8 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch. Brought to you by Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, a business giving back to their community. Give them a call at 678-364-3979 or check them out online at AllenVigilFord.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson.
grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports.
Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
That's our man JB Smooth, and thanks to him and all the other guys that jumped on to give us what we call a drop, as we call that when folks come on and shout out your show. So we appreciate all those people that did it, Tim Tebow, all those people that took the time out to pop in and say, hey man, we're gonna show some love to the Real Talk Sports Show. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. You know, we always close off our broadcast with Falcons football. And we appreciate all those Falcons fans on Facebook that allow us to share our show on the station. Now, we got the vacuum going there. I'm not sure what's going on here, guys. We got, like I said, anytime you're live, anything will be happening here. So hopefully you guys don't hear that noise in the background. We'll hopefully get them shut that down before we leave. Anyway, let's talk Falcons. All right, so you guys know that it has been an interesting run here with the Falcons over the last couple of years. And as we try to quote unquote rebuild, it's been tough sledding. We've had a lot of moments where we're like, okay, we're going to turn the corner. It's on and popping. We're here. And then we get the from the disappointment of games slipping through our fingers. So now the question is, what can this team do to really keep it going? I mean, what can they do now at 4-3 and a situation where the Saints, who they were tied with in the first place, have now lost? What can happen? What can we do to make sure that this win that we had, kind of probably undeserved, and I shouldn't say undeserved because the defense played lights out, so I don't want to say that. And the offense did move the ball. They just couldn't seem to go ahead and score. So I don't want to say that the team played completely bad. But I will say this. We're going to need some more consistent play from Desmond Ridder. And this is a guy, before you guys hit me in the head, so Minister, this is your guy here. I'm trying to hang on. But at the end of the day, he's not giving to me what we had before. He's not giving me that, he's not giving me what I was excited about when he came here, which is a situation where he was not making any turnovers. He was really keeping the ball in check, and he was really, that's what he was known for at Cincinnati. He was known to be a guy that didn't turn the ball over, didn't crack under the high pressure situation. And even though he's done great as far as, you know, looking bad in a half or bad in a quarter and coming back and bringing the Falcons to victory, so I don't want to take away from that, but man, he's the one that put him in that spot. So I'm just saying, hopefully and prayerfully, you know, we can get more consistent play from Desmond Ridder here. Listen, we're going to take a little break. So I got a little action going on behind me here. I'm trying to see if I can shut it down real quick. Maybe I have some like clean up here going. Don't go anywhere. We're back with more the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Sorry about that, guys. We had to take a quick little move here. We had some housekeeping. They had the vacuum cleaner on, so we'd ask them to please give us a moment, and you know, we'll be off obviously in a few more minutes. So let's wrap it up here talking Falcons. So again, the Falcons now find themselves in a position that they have not been in for almost 4 years. They're in a position to get a stranglehold on first place in the FC South. I'm saying it again, the Falcons, if they win, if they can find a way to win Sunday on the road against Tennessee, which is which I don't care what people say about they don't have this or that. They got, rookie quarterbacks coming in. It doesn't matter. The Falcons have had the uncanny ability over the years to make average players look pretty good and pretty good players look like all pros. So hopefully this Falcons defense, this edition, will continue to play the way they played all year, would be able to contain teams enough that their offense can find some kind of way to eke out just enough points to win. Now, the other thing about the Tennessee Titans are that our head coach came from there. So head coach Mike Vrabel knows all about Arthur Smith and his trick bag and all the things he has to do. And as you guys know, we've seen this before. When teams go in and play against teams they've come from, sometimes the head coach has problems because the other team knows what he wants to do. So what do the Falcons have to do? Something that they have had trouble doing over the last couple of years. Executing and playing error-free football. It's real simple. This is not, well, I'm not going to tell you there's some kind of complicated scheme the Falcons need to run. We don't need Arthur Smith to call the game of his life. What we just need the Falcons to do is whatever the guy calls, the Falcons need to execute it and execute it with excellence and efficiency. If the Falcons do that, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, they will be 2 games over 500 since the last time they've done that was the last time we playoffs, which was back in 2018. And they would have not one, but a 2-game lead in the NFC South with 2 games in hand against NFC South competition. This is one of those moments. I don't want to say low-hanging fruit, but this is a moment where the Falcons can seize the initiative and really put themselves in position to do something like I said they haven't done for 5 years, which is go to the playoffs. This team is good enough to do it. I predicted in the season this would be beginning of the season that this would be a 10-win team, and they have all the capability to be a 10-win team if, in fact, they can find a way to, like I said again, play error-free football. Or maybe 1 interception by Ritter. I could take 1 interception, but that's it. And the other thing is, look, here's the formula for me for the Falcons to win each and every week. Remember last year they averaged over 150 yards a game on the ground. Now this year they've not been able to quite get to that, but they've still been averaging about $120 or $125 on the ground, which still keeps them in the top 10 in the league in rushing. So my formula is this: I need the Falcons to at least average what they've been averaging so far this season. Actually, I like a little more, somewhere between 125 and 150 yards on the ground. And for Desmond Ritter to pass for somewhere between 200 and 250 yards with no more than 1 turnover. I can take 1 turnover. If the Falcons do that, I do believe that that is the formula for the Falcons to win. Based on the fact that where their defense is playing, which is at a top 10 level, I think they're ranked 8 overall in the NFL. That's it, guys. There's no secret sauce here. Play Falcons football, which has been under Arthur Smith a good running attack. Now add in a mix of a Desmond Ritter that can play up to the potential or play the way he played in college, which was not having any moment being too big for him and not turning the ball over under pressure. If he can do that on Sunday, not only will the Falcons win, but as I mentioned, they will now have a firm grip, a 2-game lead over the Saints for first place in NFC South. And that's their track to get into the playoffs. I think it's going to be difficult for them to get in as a wild card, because you look out west, you have Seattle and now Los Angeles Rams look like they're kind of waking up out there. You have, in the case of the NFC North, you got the Lions and really not much else. But still, what you want to be in the position is that you get that division crown, because guess what happens? You get the first playoff game at home. We all know it. The Falcons, over the years, I don't care, you can go back to Matt Ryan years, whatever, the Falcons normally can do pretty good at home. So that's my thoughts, boys and girls. We get ready to wrap this up here again. We have been very, very blessed to be broadcasting live from the Kings and Priests event. You get the music coming up in the background. So we're getting ready to go into our next session. As right on time here, as we get ready to wrap it up, we want to say again, thank you and kudos to all of you who've been listening to this on legendary WIGO Pacer at 1570 AM. We also want to give a big shout out to those of you who have been watching us on various platforms. I'm going to have to get off here because that music is probably copyright music, and you all know that we'll get a strike on Facebook or YouTube. All right, before I go, I'm going to let you guys know, as they do each and every week, remember, if you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior, please, ma'am, please, sir, get to know him today. Nobody loves you like Jesus. He's the one that died for you, but he rose from the dead. And when he did, 2 great things happened. You, now, if you repent of your sins and believe in him, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. And number two, you become a adopted child of God with all the rights therein. That means you can now go to God as a heavenly Father, ask him for anything you need or desire, and according to his will, give it to you. And number two, when you leave this place, you go to that happy place, the most spectacular and beautiful place ever even created in all of time. I'm called by heaven, where there's no pain, no pandemic, no bad people. You never die, you never get old. It's a wonderful place to be. And you get to see God, Jesus Christ, face to face. And you avoid that nasty place called hell. All the things I mentioned that are in heaven will not be in hell. Dark, dirty, terrible, painful, and most of all, you cut off from God and Jesus Christ forever and a day. All right, guys, I got to go because I don't want to get a copyright strike. Till next time we see you again. God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, whichever may apply. So long and God bless.